We've all dealt with someone who made us feel small, unwanted, or invisible. But what happens when that person loses everything and comes knocking on your door for help? That's the impossible position I found myself in when my daughter-in-law, who had treated me like garbage for 5 years, showed up begging for a job. What I decided to do left everyone speechless. Linda had just finished her morning yoga routine when the pounding started. Not a polite doorbell ring, but urgent, desperate knocking that made her heart race. She grabbed her robe and hurried to the front door of her Chicago townhouse, wondering who would be so frantic at 7 in the morning. Through the peephole, she saw Rachel, her daughter-in-law of 5 years. But this wasn't the polished, condescending Rachel who usually breezed past her at family gatherings. This Rachel had mascara streaking down her cheeks, her expensive blouse wrinkled, and her hands shaking as she knocked again. Linda opened the door. "Rachel, what's happened?" Rachel practically fell inside, her composure completely shattered. "I got fired. They fired me yesterday, Linda. 24 hours notice, and I'm out. No severance because they're claiming performance issues, which is complete BS. But I signed an NDA, and can't fight it without a lawyer. I can't afford." Linda guided her to the living room sofa, the same sofa Rachel had once described as depressingly outdated, within Linda's earshot. She sat down heavily, her whole body trembling. "I need a job," Rachel said, her voice raw. "I know you run your marketing agency. I know you need people. I'm good at what I do. You know I am. I need someone to give me a chance." Linda's mind reeled. This was the woman who had spent 5 years making her feel inadequate. The woman who had forgotten to invite her to her own son's birthday party, who had suggested loudly, at Thanksgiving, that Linda's generation just didn't understand modern business, who had physically turned her back on Linda during conversations, literally excluding her from family discussions. And now she wanted a job. "Rachel," Linda said carefully, "you've made it very clear how you feel about me. You've dismissed my work, my opinions, my presence in my son's life. Why would you come to me now?" Rachel's face crumpled. "Because I have nowhere else to go. My rent is $3,000 a month. I have 2 weeks before I'm evicted. My parents are retired on a fixed income. Marcus is already stretched thin with his job, and you're the only person I know who's hiring." There it was, the brutal honesty of desperation. Linda made coffee, her hands steady despite the turmoil in her chest. She thought about Marcus, her only son, and how his marriage to Rachel had created a wedge in their once close relationship. Rachel had been subtle at first, suggesting separate holidays to establish their own traditions. Then came the comments about Linda being too involved, too opinionated, too old-fashioned. Marcus had tried to play peacemaker, but Rachel had been skilled at making Linda the problem. "Your mom just doesn't respect our boundaries," Rachel would say. Or, "I wish your mom would understand we're adults now." Each comment had been designed to make Marcus choose, and slowly, he had pulled away. Linda returned with 2 mugs. "Rachel, I need you to understand something. For 5 years you've treated me like an obstacle to your happiness. You've excluded me, belittled me, and made sure I knew I wasn't welcome in your life. Do you have any idea how much that hurt?" Rachel stared into her coffee. "I was intimidated by you," she said quietly. "You're this successful businesswoman. You're beautiful. You're confident. Marcus talked about you like you hung the moon. I felt like I could never measure up, so I pushed you away before you could reject me." "So you rejected me first," Linda said. "You made me the villain in your story." "Yes." Rachel's voice broke. "And now I'm here asking the person I treated worst for help. I know how hypocritical it is, but Linda, I'm drowning. If you can't help me, I understand. I deserve it." Linda studied the broken woman on her couch. She thought about the Buddhist principles she'd been exploring in her spiritual practice: compassion, letting go of grudges, seeing people's suffering. She also thought about self-respect and boundaries. "I'll give you a job," Linda said slowly, "but we need to be clear about what that means." Rachel's head snapped up, hope flooding her face. "Anything. I'll do anything. You'll work as my marketing coordinator," Linda explained. "You'll report directly to me. The salary is $50,000 a year, enough to cover your rent and expenses while you get back on your feet. The work is legitimate. I genuinely need someone in this role. But Rachel, if you work for me, you need to understand something crucial." Linda leaned forward, I won't tolerate disrespect, not veiled comments, not eye rolls, not complaints to Marcus about how difficult I am. If you take this job, you're choosing to see me as your boss, and to treat me with professional respect. The moment you slip back into old patterns, you're done. No second chances. Rachel nodded rapidly. I understand. I promise. I'm not finished, Linda continued. This isn't just about professionalism. I'm offering you this opportunity because I believe people can change, and because I love my son and don't want to see his marriage suffer from financial stress. But I'm also doing this for me, to prove to myself that I can set boundaries and still be compassionate. This is as much a test for me as it is for you. What do you need from me? Rachel asked. Honesty, effort, and a genuine willingness to see me as a person, not a competitor. Linda handed her a folder. Here's the job description. Look it over tonight. If you want the position, be here tomorrow at 8 a.m., ready to work. Rachel took the folder with trembling hands. Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea what this means. After Rachel left, Linda sat alone in her living room, wondering if she'd just made a terrible mistake, or the bravest decision of her life. The first 2 weeks were brutal. Rachel showed up on time, dressed professionally, and tried to follow Linda's instructions. But years of conditioned behavior don't disappear overnight. Linda would catch Rachel rolling her eyes during team meetings. When Linda suggested revisions to Rachel's work, Rachel's body language screamed defensiveness even when she said, "Of course I'll fix that." The breaking point came during a client presentation. Linda was explaining their marketing strategy when Rachel interrupted. Actually, what Linda means is, and proceeded to rephrase everything Linda had just said, as if Linda hadn't been clear enough. After the client left, Linda closed her office door. Rachel, we need to talk. Rachel's face flushed. If this is about the presentation, I was just trying to help clarify. You were undermining me, Linda said firmly. In front of a client, you made it seem like I couldn't communicate effectively. That's not what I meant. It doesn't matter what you meant. It matters what you did. Linda kept her voice level but hard. This is exactly what I warned you about. You're falling back into the pattern of treating me like I'm incompetent. If you can't respect me as your employer, this arrangement won't work. Rachel's defenses crumbled. She sank into a chair, her face in her hands. You're right. God, you're right. I don't even realize I'm doing it. It's like this automatic response when I feel threatened. Why do you feel threatened? Linda asked. Because you're good at this. Rachel's voice rose. You're really, really good. And it reminds me that I'm not in control anymore. I lost my job because I wasn't good enough, and now I'm working for someone who is good enough, and it makes me feel like a failure. Linda sat down across from her. Rachel, you're not a failure. You're someone who hit a rough patch, but you need to stop seeing other people's success as your failure. My competence doesn't diminish yours. Rachel looked up, tears streaming. How do I stop? How do I change something I don't even know I'm doing? You start by being aware. Every time you feel that urge to correct me or undermine me, pause, ask yourself why, and choose differently. Linda's voice softened. I'm not your enemy, Rachel. I never was. Something shifted after that conversation. Rachel started catching herself mid-eye roll and apologizing. She began asking Linda questions about her approach instead of automatically dismissing it. Slowly, grudgingly at first, she started learning. Linda watched the transformation with cautious optimism. She taught Rachel her networking strategies, her client management techniques, her creative process, and Rachel, humbled by necessity, actually listened. One afternoon, 6 weeks into the job, Rachel came into Linda's office with a campaign proposal. I worked on this over the weekend, she said nervously. It's for the Torah's account. I know you were struggling with their demographic, so I did some research and came up with this approach. Linda reviewed the proposal. It was brilliant, creative, data-driven, perfectly tailored to the client's needs. Rachel, this is exceptional work, really exceptional. Rachel's face lit up with genuine pleasure. You think so? I used some of the techniques you taught me about audience psychology. You didn't just use them, you elevated them. This is better than what I would have come up with. Linda meant it. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. That means, you have no idea what that means coming from you. They presented the campaign together. The client loved it and signed a contract extension. Afterward, Rachel hugged Linda spontaneously in the parking lot. We make a good team, she said. Linda hugged her back, feeling the walls between them finally crumbling. 3 months later, Linda hosted Thanksgiving at her townhouse. Marcus arrived with Rachel, and Linda noticed immediately how different things felt. Rachel helped in the kitchen without being asked. She laughed at Linda's stories instead of checking her phone. She asked Linda's opinion about a career decision she was considering. During dinner, Marcus looked between his wife and mother, clearly amazed by the change. "I don't know what happened," he said, "but I'm grateful. I've missed having you both in my life without the tension." Rachel reached across the table and took Linda's hand. "Your mom saved me," she said to Marcus, "and I'm not just talking about the job. She showed me what real strength looks like, being able to help someone who hurt you, setting boundaries while staying compassionate. She taught me more about being a good person in 3 months than I learned in years." Linda squeezed her hand. "You did the hard work, Rachel. You chose to change." Later, as they cleaned up together, Rachel said, "I got a job offer, a good one, senior marketing director at a tech firm. Great salary, benefits, the whole package." Linda's heart sank, but she kept her voice steady. "That's wonderful, Rachel. You should take it." "I want to," Rachel said, "but I told them I couldn't start for a month. I need to help you hire and train my replacement first. I'm not leaving you in the lurch after everything you've done for me." Linda felt tears prick her eyes. "You've grown so much. I had a good teacher." Rachel hugged her tightly. "And Linda, I'm sorry for everything, for the years I wasted being threatened by you instead of learning from you. I can't get that time back, but I promise I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you." "You already have," Linda whispered. Marcus found them like that, hugging in the kitchen, and joined in, wrapping his arms around both of them. For the first time in 5 years, Linda's family felt whole. Sometimes the people who challenge us the most become our greatest teachers. Have you ever had to help someone who hurt you? Did you set boundaries while staying compassionate, or did you walk away? There's no right answer. We all heal differently. But I've learned that sometimes, offering grace doesn't mean accepting disrespect. It means creating space for change while protecting your own peace. What would you have done in my shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story.